这是一个课题。So, Mr. Kinderberger, I know you have a very high aspiration in this GT education, but we are talking about the general public, and they are still, their resources are limited. They still have to interest in the public education. But of course, in the specialized private school, geared towards the real GT education, especially with the understanding of extremely high IQ kids.
Right.
So that's a different story. Okay.
Right. And many of the private schools, not only here in Houston, but around the country, they are able to offer much higher level courses than the public schools.
Yes.
Obviously, the public schools are to serve the public, and they're to serve the 100 IQ. That's their business.
Yes.
Let me throw in something here. Why they are so different? Why the public schools cannot do what the gifted students can? Two things.
Yes.
First, you got to find them. Then you've got to train them.
Yes.
Now, to simplify this thing, let me just say this. When you find a gifted student, you've got to be able to find out what they're interested in, keep their interest, and then once you do, you've got to keep them challenged. Because if you don't keep them challenged, they're off someplace else.
Yes.
Public schools can't do that. They don't have the resources to do that. So when you get
they
these,
don't have the money,
no,
they don't have the teacher.
But no, they don't have the public schools are built for the 100 IQ guy.
Yes.
Or girl.
But they have a specialized GT education program, like in Houston in HSD. They have SQ. They have T.H. Rogers.
But there's only so much they can do.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Rogers is a wonderful school, and they do a great job.
Yes.
But there's still only so much that they can do because
right.
they have so many kids that they have to do it with. That's why the classes, for instance, at Raynard, I mean, some of our high school classes are you have 3 students to a teacher, but on average throughout our whole school, it's around 9. 9 kids per class.
No, but you mean in Rogers is 25 kids to one teacher.
So you can see that at the gifted school, the teacher has so much more time to handle 9 kids and know what they need to know, where they need to be, and keep them challenged.
John,
that is a
you have to
real chore.
Where Mr. Kinderberger coming from. He is so dissatisfied with the public school system, and he's disillusioned by that system because he worked for them, he struggled with them. So he has a very strong opinion about that. That's why he and his colleagues set up the Raynard School. He's the board of
on the board of directors
on the board of
Raynard
directors.
School for Gifted
Students. So he's
students.
director of this small private school geared especially to the very high IQ kids, and they learn, they understand them. That's why when they brush out the public school system, you should have some understanding. But here's the question. You talk about private school, okay? Excuse me, I have to direct that. Some of my students do go into the private school. Private school and private school are not born equal, right?
That's correct.
So some of the students from the private school, at least in the academic level, are not that impressive. How about that? And you set up the gift program in village school. Can you give me a general understanding of the private school landscape in the Houston area? And how many of them have the real GT program?
Well, very few of them have the abilities of the gifted and talented schools that are devoted just to that. They just don't have the resources. I mean, it's expensive. It's expensive to go to a GT school, as it is expensive to go to private schools.
Yes, that's right.
And, but I don't know. Ask me the question again. I got excited and got turned on to another.
I was visiting your school, and I was very impressed by the caliber of your staff and your teachers. Even the staff on the front, they understand the concept of the GT kids, the difference between GT kids and the other kids. And when talking with the physics teacher, mathematics teacher, and the literature teacher, they were teaching Shakespeare. And how many public schools in Houston are teaching Shakespeare? And with a good understanding? No, zero. So that's why it's very impressive. But I know in the general school, even Rogers, they don't teach Shakespeare because I don't know what's the problem.
Well, when
20 years ago, 30 years ago, they used to teach that in the general curriculum.
I can tell you the curriculum in public schools has been dumbed down over the last 20 years.
Okay.
I mean, seriously, I mean, you look at the state tests that were required for just algebra.
The test is ridiculous.
Probably 10-15% of that course is not even taught in Algebra 1 anymore. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's a sad state of where the school systems are going, and that's the reason why when you have the really good ones, and we luckily have good ones here in the Houston area, Spring Branch and Katy and Cy-Fair, for instance, all of those, are they have GT programs, but they are limited. Mm-hmm. Just
after
like
commercial
Rogers
break, we are, the debate is getting heated, so we are going to translate your message into Chinese, and then we go from there.
Okay.
广告回来跟大家再见。